We are divided more today than ever before, and it's not a Republican or Democrat caused issue. Let me explain. Think back to the 1970s and 80s. Many of us grew up with a shared cultural touchstones. Mr. Rogers teaching us kindness, Carl Sagan opening our eyes to the universe, Steve Irwin showed us a love for wildlife. Public broadcasting and major networks meant that millions of Americans were seeing the same voices, learning from the same role models, and having a common frame of reference for what it meant to be part of society. Now, look around. That shared experience is gone. Media is fragmented across social media, streaming platforms, podcasts, and countless niches outlets. Everyone has their own curated feed, their own influencers, and their own small echo chamber. And while this diversity gives us more voices, it also comes at a cost. Back then, the media environment was centralized. That created a few key advantages. First, it created shared cultural role models. Figures like Fred Rogers, Steve Irwin, or Carl Sagan reached nearly everyone. They weren't just entertaining, they helped guide public behavior, civic values, and curiosity. Secondly, it created a common baseline of truth. Nightly news anchors like Walter Cronkite or the Huntley Brinkley team provided widely trusted reporting. Even if people disagreed politically, they shared a reference point for facts. Lastly, cultural cohesion. Because most Americans were consuming the same media, it shaped a sense of national identity and common values. This wasn't perfect, of course. Centralized media could be slow to report on marginalized communities. Cultural biases were baked into what was considered newsworthy. And in certain areas, coverage reflected government perspectives, like during the early Vietnam War or the Cold War. There was also the risk of manipulation. If the few central voices were captured or biased, they could steer public perception in a way that wasn't objective. But overall, the centralized system created a shared reality that gave us a baseline of civics, culture, and public discourse that most people participated in together. Fast forward to today, media is everywhere. Social media, YouTube, TikTok, podcast, streaming. Anyone can become a voice. Anyone can share information, and niche communities can flourish. This has some clear benefits. Marginalized voices can finally be heard. People can explore perspectives that wouldn't have made it to mainstream TV. There's more personal choice in what we watch, read, and learn. Fragmentation gives freedom. It gives diversity. But freedom also comes with new challenges. Challenges that threaten the shared baseline we once had. Algorithms are at the heart of the problem. Platforms are designed to maximize engagement, and the most engaging content tends to trigger strong emotions: anger, distrust, and fear. Outrage spreads faster than nuance. This incentivizes sensationalism over careful reporting. People are pushed into echo chambers where they only see content that confirms their existing beliefs. Radicalization can happen slowly and subtly because repeated exposure to extreme content normalizes it over time. Unlike in the centralized media era, there's no universally trusted referee. There's no Cronkite of the 21st century guiding us toward a shared understanding of reality. Instead, every person has their own reality shaped by the algorithm. That makes civil discourse harder, compromise rarer, and public unity even more elusive. Looking back objectively, centralized media wasn't perfect. It could marginalize some perspectives, and it had the potential for bias or manipulation. But it did provide common ground. It allowed us to share cultural touchstones, learn from role models, and have discussions grounded in some degree of shared fact. Today, free speech is alive like never before, but the way it's amplified by algorithms is creating the opposite of a shared civic foundation. Speech isn't just free, it's selectively amplified, and what gets amplified is often what enrages us. The result is not a more informed public, but a more radicalized and divided one. So what does this mean for our society? If your goal is public unity and civil discourse, the current media landscape works against it. We have freedom, choice, and more voices than ever before, but we no longer have a shared set of role models or a trusted baseline for truth. That makes it harder to see each other as citizens first and opponents second. The challenge moving forward isn't to restrict free speech, but to find ways to cultivate common ground in a world built for fragmentation, to create space where we can all engage with shared facts, shared cultural touchstones, and shared role models. Otherwise, the algorithm will continue to radicalize us, one outrage at a time. If you guys liked the video, be sure to like and share. It helps me out a ton. Comment below your opinion on the diversified media and whether you think it was for the better or worse. Lastly, be sure to subscribe to stay in the loop and help me make more videos like this one. Thanks.